Yo, what is going on YouTube? This your boy Kamen Rider Zero Spike back again once again. And today, people, today we are for Kamen Rider Revice episode 23. Now this was a very kind of episode, and I'm gonna make this quick. I don't have that much to say about this episode, but it was okay. Turns out, long story short, Vice wasn't really trying to betray everyone, things like that. He was just trying to protect Iki from so many things that were going on, and he just really wanted to protect Iki. And also, we find out that yes, the weekend are the culprits for giving Iki and Vice the new Vice stamp, the roller Vice stamp. So George, he's feeling like, I have to figure out who has been giving them this stuff, because these are scrapped like ideas and stuff like that. So, and only like I don't know anybody else who can make these things except for like people I know. So George kind of goes on his own little investigation kind of thing, and also he tries to like dissect Vice, which I'm just like, why? Like, all y'all gotta do is just figure out what's going on. All you gotta do is be like, oh, where'd you get this Vice stamp? You gave it to us. No, I didn't. Oh, really? Okay, let's figure out who made it. Like, that's all you had to do. Like, basically, George just kind of made himself like an antagonist for that part. And also, we see that Oteka and Aguilera have basically gotten their whole like little setup thing going on. And we see why Aguilera gave Sakura Julio, because like she's like, this is her, basically it was her own little form of kindness, by saying like, oh well, I knew that he would feel some type of way if I left him, so if I just threw him out, so I knew you would take care of him, so yeah, whatever. So, but yeah, we also see that now that Vice has been, kind of taken over, basically taken over by Iki, everybody thinks he's evil throughout the episode, and it's kind of weird. We see Vice going around the city just regular, doing all kinds of fun things, like he's bowling, playing baseball, playing video games. Like, how is nobody thinking this is weird? I mean, everybody else kind of runs away from demons all the time, but like, how is no one thinking this is weird? It's just weird. But also there's a thing where like Vice can like put himself and Iki inside of the roller Vice stamp and fly away. Why is that a thing? Why is that a thing? And it doesn't make any freaking sense. But back to the B plot, really, with the comedian stuff. Turns out the culprit behind the whole, them being attacked and things like that. Was the girl who was their like their biggest fan. She kind of felt left behind, because after they started getting big and stuff like that, and then it was kind of her trying to get all the other ones off them so they could grow. And yeah, that's basically it. But also that crew, what they were supposed to be protecting, they ended up just getting their stuff together, getting their shit together, and basically like working harder now on what their whole thing was supposed to be. So yeah, that was the little B plot. But also we see like while we get a fight between Oteka and Aguilera versus Daiji and Sakura, and this fight was they get oh god, they get beaten and everything, but at the same time it was just we did have Sakura talking to Aguilera, but we also had the return of Kagero in this episode. Daichi did a good job fighting this guy. We see that he kind of did a good job fighting against Oteka by doing the using the jackal form and all kind of stuff like that. He did okay, but then he gets hit hard enough. When he got hit hard enough, he switched to Kagero, and Kagero ends up saving Sakura. But Sakura, he basically says that how am I supposed to He said, how am I supposed to eat this girl's curry again if she's dead? So he ends up fighting Oteka, and actually does pretty well against Oteka. I felt kind of weird of why he was protecting Sakura. Well, also because like, if she's dead, then he can't eat her curry or anything like that anymore, so that still makes sense. But yeah, but also while we see Iki and Vice, they're just, Iki's trying to get Vice to basically, man, try to get him to, come do something, try to get him to do something, and trying to get him to work, trying to get him back to what they're supposed to be doing. And we see that Sakura and Daiji, they corner Vice, and they kind of get through to him and stuff like that. They figure out what he's up to and everything like that, and they end up using the little phone to be able to communicate with Iki. And yeah, so they formulate a plan to kind of get these dead men to come out, and we end up fighting the dead men again by using Jack Revice, which is still a very, very cool form, to say the least. Now that form has been defeated, we see that they arrest the girl, they arrest the big fan girl, they end up arresting her, and stuff like that. But this, and also when Sakura was leaving to go help Daiji with Aguilera and Oteka, we see the son of that family following him, following her, and yeah, he's following Sakura, but George is following him, trying to figure out what he's doing, and he's trying to figure out like what his family comes from. He's trying to figure them out because he thinks like they're the ones that's kind of like, maybe we know that they're the ones that made that Vice stamp and Sakura's driver. So oh, I yawned. I'm really sleepy, guys. But we see that after he has taken over, after he's still trying to figure that out, he's following him, and overall he does figure out that this family is like big, like this family's up to something. And then after we've defeated the dead men and stuff like that, we see that Sakura goes back to Wednesday, goes back to the Weekend's base. It sounds weird. You're going to see the Weekend. I'd love to meet the Weekend. That's the homie. But go back to the Weekend's base. It turns out the family isn't the leaders. They aren't the leaders of the Weekend. They are basically just following this one guy who's he's the leader. He has a mask on, but he has the same name as George. He has George's last name. So the plot's starting to thicken now, because I thought that they were the leaders of the whole thing. It turns out they just working for him. But other than that, it's weird. Katsuragi, yeah, his name's Katsuragi, and he has the same name, basically the same last name as George. So it makes sense that like this guy probably is part of George's family. Maybe his dad, maybe a brother or something like that, and he has the same knowledge. And he's the one that's been creating these Vice stamps and drivers and stuff. Maybe they, that's probably something, most likely probably something that's going on. But other than that, though, this episode wasn't all. I mean, also we don't solve the problem between Iki and Vice. We're gonna have a third parter on that. We don't solve that problem. But other than that, yeah, the episode kind of ends off. Right there with meeting Katsuragi. But this episode it wasn't bad. It wasn't really a bad episode. It was kind of like it was kind of weak, but it wasn't a bad episode. We got some really good action, especially with Jack Revice. But yeah, this episode wasn't bad. It was nothing like last week. I tell you that. Like it hasn't it's been going, but it's starting to slow down now. But other than that, also we didn't see any Phoenix. Also in this episode, we didn't really see any other Phoenix people. We didn't see the we don't know if the Phoenix base is still down. Like, we don't know if the Phoenix base is like still down. Like, is the Phoenix base back floating? Is it back like in the helicarrier mode? Like, what's happening there? Like, what's going on with the Phoenix base? And we also haven't seen the current director, the old guy. We haven't seen him in this episode either. So I was just wondering, bringing that up, like, what's going on with Phoenix? Because apparently Phoenix is still up and running because we still got members and stuff running around. So I wonder what's going on with that. But with that being said, guys, you guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about this episode of Kamen Rider Revice. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. If you made it to this point of the video, thank you so much. I very much appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time. Remember, stay henshined. And now I'm going to bed.